So something that we always hear when it comes to real estate is that houses need to become more affordable. But what does affordability really mean? Now, to the general public and policymakers, affordability means different things. And we can debate all day long on what's affordable and whatnot. But today, I just want to take a moment and focus on the article written by CBC covering the report made by CMHC that said Canada needs 5.8 million new homes by 2030 to tackle this affordability crisis, with majority of the supply gap in Ontario and BC. But before we dive into that report, my name is Alice Prince. I am a broker with Royal LePage Signature, helping clients buy and sell real estate in York Region, Durham Region, and Toronto. Now, the term affordable housing has become associated with social housing or housing for low-income Canadians that is subsidized by governments. When the CMHC put out the report, they used affordability in terms of measuring income relative to the cost of housing carrying costs. And it stated in this article, if current rates of new construction continue, CMHC said the country's housing stock is expected to increase by 2.3 million units by 2030, reaching close to 19 million units total. But in order to achieve affordability for all Canadians, the agency said that they need 3.5 million homes needed. Now, this obviously looks like a massive number, and 2030 is only 8 years away. Considering how fast time flies, 2030 will be upon us in no time. Now, is this feasible? Who knows? But the report focuses on the country's long-term housing strategy and did not really zero in on the cyclical challenges we're facing in the short term and sort of the impact that that has or that it will have. But what exactly does this mean to those in Ontario? What's considered affordable? And if you're wondering who CMHC is, they are the Canadian Mortgage Housing Corporation, and their main initiative is helping Canadians buy a home. So CMHC has been around actually since 1944, when it was created by Parliament to provide low housing and affordable mortgages to World War II veterans returning after the war. And today, amongst other things, it provides mortgage insurance for buyers who otherwise might not be able to get into a property. So CMHC did some modeling, and based on their research, they found that over 2/3 of the supply Canada needs is in Ontario and BC. Now, exactly how is affordability measured? How far are we from that target? Well, they take the total housing cost, in which includes your mortgage payment, your insurance, maintenance, basically the carrying costs, and using the average cost of a home as a benchmark. Now, secondly, they take the average disposable income earned, and if you divide those two numbers, then it's going to give you the percentage of which people's income is spent on housing, which is called the affordability ratio. But let's take a look at Canada's overall affordability graph from 1990 to 2021. Now, back in 1990, people spent more than 50% of their incomes on housing. And keep in mind that interest rates back then were 13.25%. And I know that you're going to say, but Alice, home prices were like $200,000 back then, not $1 million. And you're right. But if you purchased a home at the interest rate, at that interest rate, 97% of your monthly mortgage payment was going towards interest, meaning you're taking a longer time to build equity. But if we look at this graph and we look at the total housing costs relative to people's disposable incomes, we can see what percentage of income people are spending in various parts of Canada. But in this graph, it shows you the recent history in which housing costs proportion to the average incomes were relatively pretty low in the years 2003, 2004, and 2010. And that was also a time when the economy was stable, not either in a boom or a recession. And according to CMHC, 40% is a good target to achieve. Now, as we all know, prices go up because there's more demand than supply. So the question then becomes, well, how much more supply do we need to create in order to get that 40% affordability target? The CMHC did the calculations by estimating the demand for housing in 2030 based on the projected incomes, population growth, interest rates. So based on the modeling in order to reach that 40% affordability target, BC would need to build an additional 0.62 million housing units. That's 24% more than what we're planning to build in 2030. And in Ontario, we need to build an additional 1.63 million housing units, which is also 24% more than what is in the pipeline for 2030. Now, although many provinces in Canada are affordable, people are still finding themselves moving to Toronto and Vancouver, even though it's two of the more expensive areas. And expensive housing will always be a concern for popular cities for the obvious reasons: robust job opportunities, diverse culture, vibrant lifestyles. It's really the perfect formula for this demand magnet. But keep in mind, these are projections based on business as usual, assuming that past trends continue and if there's no policy change. Now, CMHC also noted that achieving housing affordability for everyone in Canada will require developers to become more productive and make full use of the land holdings to build more units. And so the housing agency also says governments need to make regulatory systems more efficient so that projects are approved faster, which really has been the cornerstone of housing policy discussions. And housing issues are complex, and housing supply alone won't fix housing affordability challenges for everyone. And in my opinion, the question shouldn't be on, how much do we need in terms of housing, but how the heck do we do it, right? How do we get there? I would love to hear your thoughts and your comments, so drop them in the comment section below, and I look forward to reading all of them. Now, I had recently made a deal with my kids that I would hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year, so if you found this type of content valuable, hit that subscribe button and like button. It really helps this little channel grow. Ciao for now, and we'll catch you in the next one.